Welcome back to Remote Work Essentials. I'm James. We've covered a lot of practical skills, workspace, tech, communication, time management, career growth. But none of that matters if you're miserable. Remote work can be isolating. It can be lonely. It can blur the lines between work and life in ways that damage your mental health. So let's talk about the thing that doesn't get talked about enough. How to actually take care of yourself when you're working alone. Let's start with the hard truth. Remote work can be really lonely. In an office, you have ambient human contact all day. You see people, you overhear conversations, you feel like you're part of something. Even if you're an introvert who doesn't love small talk, that background presence of other humans does matter. Remote, you might go entire days without talking to another person face to face. Your main social interaction is with tiny boxes on a screen. You eat lunch alone. You work in silence. You finish the day and you realize you haven't had a real conversation with anyone. And here's what makes it harder. It kind of creeps up on you slowly. The first few weeks, you probably feel fine. It's kind of nice, actually. No commute, no interruptions, you can focus. Then, a few months in, you start noticing you're feeling off, a little bit disconnected. A little bit unmotivated, maybe a little bit sad, though you can't quite put your finger on why. That is isolation, and it's one of the biggest mental health challenges of remote work. The good news? Isolation is solvable. It requires intention, but it is solvable. You need to deliberately create connection in your life. It won't happen by accident anymore. Let's talk about how. Here's your anti-isolation toolkit. Daily human connection. You need to talk to other humans every day. Not Slack, not email, actual voice or video conversations. Some ideas to maybe help with this. You can do virtual coffee chats with coworkers. We talked about this in episode 7. You could do lunch with a friend or a family member. You could do something like a phone call while you're taking a walk. You could do a video call just with someone you care about. Wouldn't even have to be from work. You could co-work virtually. That means just being on video with a colleague while you work. Even 15 minutes of real conversation can make a huge difference. You're going to need to get out of the house. Work from somewhere else occasionally. Someplace like a coffee shop for a few hours. You could go to a library, or you could visit a co-working space. Usually, day passes are cheap. You could go to a friend's house if you can find room to quietly work. You could even just take calls outside while you're out for a walk. Changing your environment breaks the monotony and puts you around other people. You can also join communities. Find your people. You could look in places like local meetup groups, things like hiking, book clubs, sports, whatever interests you. There's probably something not too far away that you could be plugged into. Fitness classes, volunteer organizations. You could even do religious or spiritual communities, hobby groups, and when those are not enough, or maybe you have an interest that you're really passionate about, you can even use online communities, something like Discord, Reddit, things like that. The key is regular, recurring interaction with the same people. One-off events are fun and they're nice, but ongoing groups actually build connection between people. Co-working with other remote workers. look for a local remote worker meetup. Cities often have informal groups that meet to work together. Working alongside other people, even if you're not collaborating, can reduce isolation. You're actually alone together. Schedule some social time. Put social activities on your calendar, like you would meetings. Without this, work can expand to fill that time, and you never see anyone. Thursday dinner with friends, Saturday morning coffee with your neighbor, Sunday video call with family. Schedule it, protect it, and show up. Parasocial connections. It sounds weird, but podcasts, audiobooks, YouTube videos, having voices in your space does help. It's not a replacement for real connection, but it reduces the feeling of total isolation during the workday. Play a podcast in the background while you work. Listen to music with lyrics. Have the TV on low. Human voices signal to your brain that you are not alone. Remote work turns you into a sedentary creature. You go from bed to desk to couch to bed. Some days, you won't move very far. This is terrible for your physical health, and it can be bad for your mental health as well. Movement matters. Build movement into your day. You don't need to become a gym rat. You just need to move regularly. So some ideas. Go for a morning walk before work. You could use this as part of your starting ritual. You could go for a lunchtime walk that's part of your lunch break. You could go for an evening walk that's maybe your end of day ritual. Stretch breaks. Take these every hour. I know it sounds silly. Do it. I promise it's good for you. When you can, also take meetings while going for a walk. If you're on a call and you can stand up. Sometimes it's going to sound silly, but doing things like dancing while you make coffee. I'm serious. Movement is movement. It counts. Try to work up to about 30 minutes of activity on any given day. Whether it's a walk, a run, a bike, yoga, doesn't matter. Just make sure you're moving. Now, why this matters? See, movement is part of what the human body is designed and trained to do. It reduces stress and anxiety. It improves your sleep patterns. It will boost your mood. It actually does release endorphins just by moving around. It breaks up your day. It gets you outside and around people. It also can give you energy. Sounds kind of weird, but sitting all day does make you tired, not rested. Movement will help produce energy in your body. Desk ergonomics revisited. If you are in pain, neck, back, wrists, anywhere, you are not going to feel good mentally. So go back to episode 2. Fix your setup. Your physical comfort affects your mental state. Sleep. This technically isn't movement, but please do prioritize sleep. 7 to 9 hours a night. Consistently. Stay on a sleep schedule in a dark, cool room. No screens for up to an hour before bed. Sleep deprivation will make everything harder. Your stress tolerance will drop, your mood will crash, your decision-making suffers. You cannot out-hustle bad sleep. Protect it. Remote work has specific stressors. Always-on culture, communication overload, lack of separation, performance anxiety. Let's talk about managing some of them. So recognizing your stress signals. Everyone experiences stress. and everyone experiences stress differently. Learn your patterns. So physical patterns, things like tension in muscles, headaches, or stomach issues. Maybe you're having trouble sleeping. If they're emotional issues, it could be something like you notice higher irritability, you feel like you're constantly worrying, or you're feeling overwhelmed all the time. Crying is a healthy behavior, but it can also be a sign that maybe you are overwhelmed or that you have an emotional challenge that you're dealing with. Behavioral changes could be things like avoiding a task or snapping at people that really aren't involved, or working compulsively. You could have mental patterns that are also challenging, things like racing thoughts, having difficulty concentrating, or even catastrophizing scenarios. When you notice any of these, you should take this as a sign to intervene before it becomes a crisis. For some immediate stress relief, when you're stressed in the moment, stop. Just stop what you're doing. Take a few deep breaths, maybe 5. 4 seconds in, 7 seconds hold, 8 seconds out. You're trying to regulate your patterns. You want to step away from your desk. Get outside for 5 minutes. Call someone or move your body. These aren't solutions to big problems, but they will help interrupt a stress spiral. Longer-term stress management. So for ongoing stress, you're going to need to do additional habits. You're going to need things like regular exercise. We just talked about how movement will help you. You're also going to need to make sure you're getting adequate sleep. You need to have boundaries. We talked about this in episode 8, but genuinely review them. Go back and implement them. You're going to want time off. Remember, take off your vacation days. And use therapy and counseling. We're going to talk about this a little bit in just a minute, but it is helpful and a productive practice. Meditation or mindfulness exercises can also be very helpful. For some people, journaling helps get thought patterns out of their mind and out into the physical world so they can help let go of them. Building social connection will also help. And get into some hobbies that have absolutely nothing to do with your work. You're going to need coping mechanisms that work for you. So experiment and try to find out what helps most. All right, when work is the problem, sometimes the issue isn't how you're managing stress. It's that you have too much work. If you're constantly overwhelmed, talk to your manager. There's a workload problem. It's not a you problem. If your manager won't help, that's a company culture problem. And you might genuinely need to consider whether this job is sustainable. Burnout is different from stress. It's not just being tired. It's complete exhaustion. Physical, emotional, and mental. Burnout looks like chronic fatigue that doesn't improve when you do get good rest. Cynicism about your work. If you find yourself saying, "What's the point?" Feeling ineffective. Nothing that you do seems to matter. If you're detached from your job or your colleagues. If you have physical symptoms like headaches, insomnia, or you're getting sick frequently. Maybe you have the inability to focus or complete tasks. Could be irritable, have mood swings. You could even lose motivation for things that you used to enjoy. If you're experiencing these for weeks, you probably are burnt out. Burnout doesn't heal on its own. you need to make changes. In the short term, you should take some time off, at least a week if you can afford it, ideally a couple. Actually disconnect. So don't check email. Rest, sleep, do nothing productive. In the long term, reassess your workload with your manager. You're probably going to need to set stronger boundaries, and you may want to consider therapy. Sometimes, changing jobs is actually a solution. Burnout is serious. It can take months to recover from. Prevention is way easier than recovery. So if you're burnt out, treat it like an injury. You're going to need rest and recovery, not pushing through. Let's talk a little bit about getting help when you need it. Therapy. It isn't just for crises. It's for anyone who wants support navigating life. Remote work challenges, things like isolation, boundaries, work-life balance, these are all legitimate reasons to go see a therapist. So if you need help finding one, ask your insurance for a list of in-network providers. Try teletherapy platforms, things like BetterHelp or Talkspace, right? Common names in the industry. You can also ask your regular practitioner, your doctor, for a referral. You should check if your company also has an EAP, that's an employee assistance program. It's usually 3 to 6 free sessions, and it might be a great place to start. It may take a few tries to find the right fit. That's normal for therapy. Keep trying. Crisis resources. So if you're in crisis, please don't ignore it and don't isolate. If you are talking about suicide or crisis lifeline, call or text 988 in the United States. It's a 24-hour service. Please do talk to someone. A crisis text line. So you can text HOME, the word, HOME, to 741-741. That's another crisis line. If you have a medical emergency, call 911 or go to the emergency room if you're in immediate danger. These resources don't cost anything to use. They're confidential and they're available 24/7 in the United States. As a note, if you're watching this and you're not inside the United States, do some looking, do some digging, find resources that are available to you. They probably exist, even if you have to be a little bit more creative in how you find them. Please get the help you need if you need it. Employee assistance programs, EAP. Most companies offer EAPs. It's basically free counseling, somewhere between 3 and 8 sessions, most commonly between 3 and 6. Sometimes it can be a few more. It's confidential, so your employer doesn't know that you've used it. If you call the number in your benefits information, they can put you with a therapist. Seek out support groups. Online and in-person support groups exist for remote workers, for anxiety and depression, for specific challenges in life, and honestly, sometimes just knowing that you're not alone makes a world of difference. It can help. Here's something important. Be kind to yourself. Remote work can be hard. You will have bad days. You're going to feel isolated sometimes. You're going to struggle. That doesn't mean you are failing. It means you're human. Here's your action item. Do one thing this week for your mental health. Just one. Schedule a social activity. Take a walk outside. Call a friend. Sign up for a fitness class. Research therapists. Take an actual day off. Pick one thing and do it. Your mental health isn't a luxury. It's not something that you get to when things calm down. It's essential right now. Next episode, we're going to be troubleshooting some common challenges, all the problems you often run into, and how to solve them. I'll see you then.